Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Today, I am going to be bringing you guys another episode of the amazing logging game here on Roblox that goes by the name of Lumber Inc. 3 Remade. If you have not seen my previous video on Lumber Inc. 3 Remade, I would suggest you watch that first, because since then, a few small things have changed in the game, and, of course, I have new stuff to show you all. So, coming into the game here, as you can see, this round is almost over. There are just a few boxes left to be loaded on, and then a new round will start. Really quickly, I currently have every single vehicle in the game. I also have $37,000 that I cannot do anything with. One of the small updates was the helicopter, which is a Game Pass vehicle that I now own. No longer has to be spawned up there at the helipad. It can now be spawned from the truck shop as well. And there it is. Here's the finish right here. The train's pulling off, fully loaded with all the cargo. And we can begin a brand new round. So in the beginning of a round, you're kind of just want to cut down trees. You're just going to want to cut down trees. You're going to want to get yourself a lot of logs. And then you can sort of work on beginning to bring those logs over to the mill, to pack them into boxes, and then of course load them onto the train to get tons and tons of money. So we just respawned along with everybody else. We're back over here, and we're going to go ahead and head down to the truck shop. We're going to grab a truck, and we will begin the process. Now, the vehicle I'm going to grab to start off with is the helicopter. The reason why is because the helicopter is extremely fast. As you can see, we're up here. We're going to go ahead and turn on the engine, and we're going to take off. We're going to head over to the forest, and we're going to keep an eye out for two specific types of trees. We're going to, let me turn off shift lock real quick. We're going to look for silver trees, which are grayish in color, and they give you more money than a regular tree. And then we're also going to look for mega trees, also known as size 8 trees, which are the largest trees in the game. They have tons and tons of planks, and they can load lots and lots of boxes. So we're just going to do a quick flyer on the map to keep an eye out for any of those. There are other vehicles to use. I see people use other Game Pass vehicles, non-Game Pass vehicles. I see a lot of people that use the Jeep, but the helicopter is just really quick. Just really quick to use, makes it really easy, although you do have to get the hang of flying the helicopter. Although if you go into the settings, up in the top right of the screen here, you can actually change the helicopter controls to make them a more mobile-friendly version, which should make it easier for anybody. But I prefer to have the trickier method of controlling, which I'm using right now. Just makes it a little bit tougher, but more fun and interesting at the same time. Alright, right here we have two size 8 trees, or mega trees, so as you can see, this is what they look like. They're much, much bigger than a regular tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly come in and land the helicopter. Landing this thing is a little bit tricky. I'm going to move forward, come back, turn off the engine. I'm going to slide down a little bit. There's nothing you can do about that. So I have the VIP Game Pass. That's going to increase my walk speed, and then it gives me the golden VIP axe, which has twice the tree chopping power. So we're just going to kind of let both of these mega trees fall down, and I don't really see any other trees. We're going to quickly fly through the center of the map, though, because they're very easy to miss. Same with the silver trees. Very, very easy to just overlook completely. I can't tell you how many times I have completely overlooked a good tree like that. Now, the helicopter cannot haul size 8 logs. It can haul every other type of log except for size 8 logs. So hopefully we can fly the helicopter out of these trees. Looks like we in fact can. So we'll have to come back. Whoa, okay. That was a little weird. We're fine though. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back with why does the engine keep turning off? That is the weirdest thing. So after we make sure that there's no other good trees, I'll probably come around with a loader or some other good vehicle, maybe the mag, which I'll show you guys both of those vehicles later on. I'll probably come around with one of those vehicles and pick up those size 8 trees, because those are just good. Oh, and right here, we have one more size 8 tree for good measure. Right here. So we're going to go ahead, come in for a landing, turn off the engine, and cut it down. That's that. We're going to re-enter the helicopter. And we're going to grab, on the return trip, we'll grab a couple of logs over here, just so that we're being efficient. This is the weirdest thing. The engine keeps turning off. I have no idea why. I've never ever had this issue before, so it must be a new issue. So we're gonna quickly, there's a nice pile right here. Looks like we somehow already picked up a log. Let me just kind of reposition here, so we can come down right on top of all these logs. I need these people to just move out of my way. We'll start lowering. Pick up as much as possible. It looks like that's about it. Now we will head up and over to the mill. And I'm going to just unload this directly into the mill. There are a lot of people who play this game. They will get angry at you if you unload your truck or whatever vehicle you have directly into the mill, because sometimes it will cause jams. There is nothing in the rules, though, about how you're meant to unload into the mill. So unload into the mill however you want. If you would rather unload your vehicle next to the mill and have people just put the logs in the mill for you, you can do that. If you want to unload directly into the mill like I am doing right now, do that. Just be careful, because when you unload directly into the mill like this, sometimes it can end up causing jams. So I'm going to pull forward into the second conveyor area here, where it's harder for certain vehicles to unload. Shift over to the right a little bit, back up a little. And as soon as this guy, actually I'm going to back up because that person's unloading logs there. As soon as I'm in position, and there goes the engine turning off again. I have no idea why that keeps happening. So I'll raise it up a little higher. Then over here. Now we'll drop the logs out. That was an alright unload. Good enough. Now it does look like there's some boxes to be transported, so I'm going to really quickly just hop out right here and spawn in a forklift. The fork. And I'll just transport some of those boxes, and then I will grab another vehicle, a new one that I have not showcased on this channel yet. And we will grab some of those mega trees. So a fork can hold 3 boxes. The 2 smaller lifters, so the heavy lifter, which is that one there, and then the mini lifter, which is one of the vehicles you can purchase at the start of the game, both can actually carry 1 box. The super lifter cannot carry boxes. The super lifter can only carry logs, and that's to kind of nerf it a little because it is a very powerful vehicle for something that is not a Game Pass vehicle. Looks like there's somebody else with a fork now, so I don't really need to be a fork anymore. So instead I'm going to grab a different, but still extremely powerful vehicle that goes by the name of the MAG. So this vehicle is what is called a self-sustainable vehicle. That means that it does not actually require any other vehicle to do its job. So the MAG is actually capable of, you can cut down trees using your axe, but then it transports logs to the mill, but it can load itself. Goodbye. Alright, so now that we have made a person angry, have successfully put boxes onto a train, and discovered a bunch of large trees, now we're going to transport those large trees. And you'll get to see how the MAG works and why it's called the MAG. It's actually really cool, this vehicle. I really like it. So if you want to get this vehicle, it requires not only 3,000 points, but it also requires the special truck pack, which is a game pass that contains 3 trucks. It contains the Jeep, it contains the Jeep, the combine, which combines smaller logs into larger logs to kind of clean areas up, and then it contains the mag. Now, as you just saw there, that log traveled into the truck and then disappeared, and it's now stored inside of the truck. You can store 10 logs of any size in this truck. It's called the mag because any nearby logs you can just kind of magnetically attract into the truck and store them there. So, very good vehicle. Very, very good vehicle. So I'm just going to pick up both of these size 8s, and I'll grab a little bit of other stuff, and then I'll bring it over to the mill. Now this vehicle is really tough to unload into the mill. If you want to actually unload it into the mill, it's really tricky to do that. Because the logs will actually unload directly on top of the rear section of this vehicle. Directly on top. So it's a little bit tricky to get them to actually fall onto the mill conveyor belt. So with the mag, a lot of times I like to just kind of unload next to the mill. But, you know, whatever you want to do, if you get this and you want to try and unload it into the mill, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, because even though this game does have rules, the rules say absolutely nothing about how you are meant to unload into the mill. So making the return trip back now. Gonna cross over the bridge. We'll pick up a few more logs on the end over here, as you can see. We'll just pick up a few more logs over there and bring them back. And it does not look like anybody else is out in the forest right now. It looks like I am the only one currently out in the forest. Oh, never mind. There's somebody with a dual cutter cutting down trees. There's also somebody with a super lifter, and there's a mega hauler that just arrived. So now let me come over here and pick up some of these logs. Like so. There we go, truck is full now. I'm just going to slide through here. Coming down through the tunnel. Looks like there's somebody with a lifter there. So just to show you, I'm going to attempt to unload onto the conveyor belt. This is what happens when you try to do that. If this person would move out of my way. There we go. I'm going to come over right here. That is what happens. As you can see, only a few of the logs actually managed to make it on. Now, it's not that big of a deal because there's people over here that are easily able to just kind of clean up the logs at the moment. But, you know, as you can see, it just doesn't do the greatest job. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab one of the biggest trucks in the game, or actually what is the biggest truck, the Mega Hauler. I'm going to get the Mega Hauler, and I'm going to bring that over to the forest. Right here. As you can see, this truck is absolutely massive. It barely fits on these roads. It can carry an insane amount of logs. I'm going to bring it over to the forest, and hopefully we can get someone to load the truck up, and then we can bring it over here and unload all the logs. Looks like there's a jam with the planks, or sort of a jam. Looks like it's getting fixed. But it seems like that's because, you know, the mega logs are just making tons and tons of planks. Because they are mega logs. They are absolutely massive. As you can see, this truck is very, very slow. That is meant to nerf the truck. I believe its speed is like 5 or something like that. Goes like 5 studs per second, which is really slow. You can walk nearly as fast as this truck can drive. I think I've tested it before, and you can walk at a speed of 4 studs per second. And for Roblox, studs per second is like Roblox's unit of measurement, because when Roblox was first made, you know, everything was studs. There were all these little squares, like, around top of these trucks that pretty much made up of everything, really. Just made up everything. That was the whole idea. So it looks like people are loading up these trucks. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to park in front of this guy's truck. And is this person going to load their log into my truck? Yes, they are. All right. There we go. First log. First log of many logs. So it looks like that guy's truck is just about full, though. So we'll just kind of park right here. Turn off the straps. And we'll just wait to have the truck fully loaded. And then we will make the return trip. So I will see you guys when the truck is fully loaded. Alright guys, so the truck is just about fully loaded now. I'm going to see if I can't fit a few more logs in. Looks like that's going to be about it. So we'll go ahead and lock the load down. Make the turn, and we'll go ahead and dump this massive load off. Just an absolutely massive load of logs. That's why this truck is so good, because it can transport so many logs. All these logs here probably is going to end up equaling about as much as a mega log, which is a lot considering that it's not a mega log that's in this truck, although this truck can also haul probably about 2 mega logs, along with a few other smaller logs too. Just a very good vehicle, definitely worth the price of 2,000 points. I'd say it's definitely worth the price. So making the return trip now. So over there was actually somebody with the loader. The loader is a self-sustainable vehicle that is actually also used for loading up haulers, like the mega hauler, like the super hauler, like the, I think it might be called the mini hauler. And now, we have to figure out how we want to unload. So, just to show you guys what it's like to unload the mega hauler directly into the mill, I'm going to attempt to do that. I'm going to squeeze in right through here, between those parked vehicles. I'll reverse right here. Just kind of back it up. That's about as good as it's going to get, I think. Unload, and we'll tip it back. And some idiot has just dumped the entire truck out. That was not my fault, okay? That was entirely that person's fault. That was not my fault at all. Now we're just going to go ahead and drive over another truck because, you know, physics, right? Because, you know, that's obviously how, like, science works and stuff. I can just levitate through the air and drive over another truck. I'm going to grab a loader to go ahead and kind of clean up this. So the loader is that self-sustainable vehicle I was talking about. And this person is cutting me off. It can carry 5 logs of any size, but then it can also unload them into vehicles pretty easily. So I'll just kind of squeeze in here, and I'll begin unloading these logs through here. Just put them all into the conveyor belt. They're not fitting perfectly, but you know, that's just what's going to happen. The conveyor belts in this game are questionable at best. They do not really do a good job most of the time. As you can see, like, the logs just keep falling out. That's probably just going to continue to happen. So after these idiots over here move out of the way, I'll unload the mega log right here, where it will hopefully stay. So now it's staying. Now there's just an insane amount of packages to load onto the train, so I'm going to go ahead and help out that person there with loading those packages onto the train. Grab a fork. There's somebody else with a fork, but right now I think it's not an issue to have like 3 different forks. So just take the packages, transport them onto the train, and we should be able to fill up quite a few rail cars with all these packages that we have. And then there's also Mega Log that's going to end up just giving us even more packages. People's vehicles are not parked in very good spots, but whatever. Not a super big deal. Come through here, pick up a few more. We now have 4 forks going back and forth with all of these packages. Four forks going back and forth right now. And more logs are still being loaded onto the conveyor belts. I'm about to grab another mega hauler. I'm actually going to grab another mega hauler right now. Because it looks like there's a loader going back and forth, so we'll grab a mega hauler and see if that loader can't possibly load it up. Looks like somebody just spawned in the bulldozer. The bulldozer is an interesting vehicle because when a server is laggy, the bulldozer becomes very inefficient. The bulldozer is supposed to be used for pushing logs into good piles so that way lifters can easily pick them up and load them into trucks. This guy just called my truck fat. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. So anyway, when a server's kind of laggy, the logs don't really like to move a whole lot. They don't really move very easily. And you kind of have to move the bulldozer back and forth repeatedly to actually get the logs to move anywhere. So sometimes the bulldozer isn't that useful, but the bulldozer I would say is always more useful than using any other vehicle to kind of put logs into piles. Most of the time, at least. Not always. There are exceptions to that, like if you have a bunch of very spread out logs, then a bulldozer is not going to be good for that. Especially if the server is laggy. So I'm going to go ahead and park the truck up. We'll go right over here. We'll get some more logs loaded in. Make another delivery, and hopefully this time some idiot does not decide to put their truck inside of my truck and dump all of the logs out. Hopefully, at least. Being Roblox, you know, you never know whether or not you're going to come across a 2-year-old or a 55-year-old, you know? You have no idea who you're going to find. I mean, there could legitimately be aliens playing Roblox and you would have no idea. Here's an example of somebody who has no idea what they're doing right here. Somebody brought a fork to the forest. That vehicle can only transport packages. Its only job is to just move packages from the mill to the train. And someone put it over here in the forest, but whatever. We're working pretty efficiently right now, especially with the help of this loader, so I don't think it's an issue at all. I mean, look at how quickly we got loaded. We had a loader, and then we had a heavy lifter, and just now there's a super lifter. Hopefully we can get a few more logs fit in. We should be able to. Well, I'll take this load from the super lifter. That's not really in very well. Let me get those logs that are hanging out of the truck. I mean, the speed at which they're loading this vehicle right now, though. I don't... Are they gonna load more logs in? Looks like they are. Maybe. No? They are not. So, that's fine. I will just transport these logs here. That's fine by me. No big deal. The bulldozer down there is doing a good job because the server is not laggy. When the server is not laggy, the bulldozer is an amazing vehicle. It does a perfect job of doing exactly what it is meant to do. So, I'll see you guys when I am unloading now. Alright, so here at the mill we have a little bit of a traffic jam. There's loaders, there's another mega hauler, there's a helicopter, there's tons of vehicles here. But we're here, we're going to try and unload. So get that lined up nicely. Unlock the load, tip the bed back. I'm going to slide it forwards because I do not want to cause a jam. I want to try and minimize the chances of a jam happening. So I'm going to let the logs kind of slide down there. And by having the logs exit out of the truck in this way, that will hopefully minimize the amount that the logs could possibly get jammed right there. So hopefully they won't get jammed here. They shouldn't get jammed here, at least. Unloading like this guy is here, not only does he have logs hanging out of the side of his truck, which is never usually good, but he's also unloading them onto this conveyor belt. I try to always avoid loading logs onto this conveyor belt, and the reason for that is because the logs, when they are unloaded in that way, so they're loaded vertically onto the conveyor belt. On that side, when they crest over the top of that bump on the conveyor belt, they get stuck because the other end doesn't come back down into the conveyor belt. It comes down onto the wall. And, you know, that just sort of causes issues. So if I'm using like something like a helicopter or something like this where I can unload into there, I'll always try to unload into there. And then if I'm using like a hauler, I'll always unload onto the left side where the logs unload a little bit more easily. But of course, if the other side is blocked, then I'll just go into whichever side is free. Right now, there is no free side because this person is driving into the mill, and this guy's trying to unload a singular log with the biggest truck in the game. So I'm just going to kind of wait for someone to move out of the way, and we'll go ahead and unload. So we actually have only 2 train cars left to fill with packages. Only 2 left to fill. I need these people to move out of my way so that I can unload. There's another hauler right here. But this person is completely in the way, so I'm going to see if I can't push them. Or just move them out of the way. Because they're completely in the way. They're not helping anybody at all right now by doing this. What they need is they need to get another load of logs from the forest. And then they can unload those logs. That's what they need to do right now, but they're not doing that. So it's probably just a troll that's kind of trying to block the mill conveyors. Or maybe it's just someone who somehow, in some way, got themselves a mega hauler. I'm going to unload on this side where the logs are just flowing a little bit more smoothly. Oh, it is a troll. Look at this, I just noticed. They're blocking the packages right now. Looks like there's a little bit of a jam on the left side. So I'll quickly unload. I'm just going to park right here out of the way. And I'll try and see if I can get these logs moving. I don't know if the conveyor's stopped. does look like they're jammed, so... There we go. Alright, they're moving now. So we solved that problem. Looks like we can probably just grab a fork and just start transporting the packages. Because there looks like we've got quite a bit of wood. I'll just grab that log over there, put that on the conveyor belt. Because we've almost got the second to last train car filled, and then we can work on filling the final train car. Put that there. So I'll actually head into the forest, grab a few more logs. Actually, you know, we're probably not going to need a few more logs. So I'm actually just going to come over here and grab a fork. Because we really just have one train car left, which is 18 packages per train car, as you can see up here at the top of the screen. Let's grab a fork. And then this round is nearly finished. Yeah, so we should be able to do this right now. There's a helicopter coming in with a few more logs for us. Maybe. Or maybe they're just putting on a stunt show. No, they are giving us some more logs. In the middle of the road, but... And then we have the troll over here doing this. We have a log jam. This log's not moving. Now it is. There's someone trying to unload logs right there. I'm just going to go ahead and click the clean mill button, seeing as this round is almost over anyway, just to get a nice easy mill clean. We have a super lifter, taking care of some other stuff. I'll just park right here and wait for some of those packages to come out. Now if you look really carefully, you'll notice that some planks are coming out of that right there, and they're joining all the other planks. What happens is when a log is cut in such a way that there are planks that are shorter than the regular size plank, like a plank like that one right there, all of those planks will actually be combined into larger planks that are then recycled back around. So as you can see, now there's just those larger planks that are getting recycled back through. I don't know if that has to do with the game's code, and that's why it's like that, or if that's just there just because why not. I'm not really sure. But just an interesting thing. Like, that doesn't have to be there, but it is. Probably just some quirk, because this is a game from 2014. This is an old game. Alright, we just need 3 more packages, and we'll be good to go. Looks like we do in fact have those 3 packages. And so we're just about able to finish off this round. Last 3 packages right here. I'm being trapped by the troll, made it past the troll. And there we go. We have pretty much finished this round now. There we are, you can see me off to the side there. Work time efficiency 382, average number of players 12. It took us 34 minutes to do that. We cut 278 trees, milled 194. We had a 70% efficiency. We got 200 points for the efficiency bonus, 70 for the tree efficiency bonus, and 200 for the stayed entire session. That's that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Lumber Inc. 3 Remade, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.